Welcome to my library, dear guest. My name is Cole, and I will be your storyteller. Lean back and relax as I read to you today's story, titled, Man Announces That He'll Show Everyone What It Means to Be a Real DM, Falls Flat of Expectations, by the author, rpghorrorstories. Once upon a time, when we were younger and quite inexperienced, we ran a few campaigns with various acquaintances. We played at a school RPG club, and thus had no short supply of players of very hit-and-miss caliber. My roommate, as well as I and some other members of the group, would DM in alternates about twice a week. While the game had its flaws, we still had fun plenty. Nobody was stuck in a perma-GM role, and things were always fresh, with various people bringing ideas to the table. Enter Bob. Bob was one of our newest recruits to the party, and he was the kind of player that would attempt to power a game and play incredible characters, only to fall flat. My roommate had a great knowledge of the rules, and was himself the crowned king of munchkinism. If you showed up at his table with a combo that made you invincible, he'd explain to you in details why stuff didn't stack, or you simply misread your abilities completely. Bob took that as a challenge, and one day announced that he himself would be running a special adventure where he would show us what it means to be a real DM. He had a scenario ready that would test the limits of our knowledge and tactical abilities. He also created a level 80 wizard for the occasion, with celerity. This is D&D. The rules are simple. We are to be level 11, or something in that range, and anything is permitted. Anything? Asks my roommate. Anything. You'll need it. The invited players quickly split into two clans. Team Edgelord and Team Challenge Accepted. The members of Team Edgelord were very excited to show off their ultimate combos and races, and we ended up with such marvelous creations as Vampires, Samurai, Monk, Half-Dragon, which sounds like it is a party combination, but is merely one of the characters. Those were honest attempts, and surely had strong racials and stats, but paled in comparison to what my roommate prepared. Some players saw him theorycraft and basically trusted him to build them an interesting pick. He started by making two generic clerics with special prestige classes, and their main reason to exist was that 1. They were totally immune to basically all mind effects, and 2. Could remove such effects from the party, which would probably shut down a large amount of crap thrown at us. With heals, dispels, and counterspell at their disposal, they would form the backbone of our defensive setup. The true creation was a monstrosity-enlarged ogre, with supreme cleave and a club way larger than even he should be able to wield. Was it stupid? Yes. Was it technically legal? Dude, fuck if I know. I was no stranger to the game, but never really made a great character. In fact, I normally played a bard, and my own fun came from writing songs, and I would end up entering the challenge campaign as said bard, mostly because Inspire Courage is neat, and someone joined last minute. To them, I offered Virgil's character sheet. Virgil wasn't very smart, nor was he particularly charismatic. In fact, Virgil couldn't even speak. He didn't even have class levels. Virgil was, however, very, very good at grappling. Because he was a colossal hamster. When friends showed up to our session, having heard of the challenge, I offered him Virgil and simply played my bard. To disguise this surprise from the DM, we used a polymorph spell on Virgil to pass him off as human, albeit one that would constantly twitch and sniff around. For the whole 2 weeks that the character creation took, some of us had doubts. Were we going too hard? However, every time we saw Bob, he would remind us that we were not ready for his amazing game, and soon we'd see what it was like to play with a real DM. Thus, we marched on with our stat crunching. The great day comes. We are greeted by a level 80 wizard named Bob. The greatest wizard ever known, and that wizard has conjured us to a magical hall for a feast to impart upon us the most glorious of quests. It would soon become apparent that despite being twice the challenge rating of an actual deity, Bob the Wizard was not the most versed in the rules, but his ability to rewrite them on the fly had carried him to great heights of power. His first action was to ask us if any of us were under some magical effect or compulsion, or curse. Since we were under a permanent ultra-powerful zone of truth emanating from Bob's armpits, or whatever, we felt like we had to point out the twitchy human and say, him. He has a magical polymorph on him. This all-powerful wizard, somehow not having mastered true-seeing, proudly explains, "Come forth, my protege, and be free from all your magical bonds." He was instantly crushed by his own feast hall crumbling to pieces, as all normal-sized dude reverted to being twice the size of the building he was on. The table rejoiced at this beautiful first impression. Bob the Wizard kept his cool and simply wished the debris away and pretended to be unfazed. Bob the DM attempted the same feat, albeit less convincingly. We were immediately sent upon a quest to retrieve 4 elemental artifacts from incredible challenges. Only our intervention could stop dark forces from reuniting the orbs and doing a thing. An evil thing. To the world, probably. The greatest adventure led by a true DM was apparently very lacking in terms of build-up, flavor, or originality. But we were the 9 chosen heroes, and so we departed on our quest to defeat hordes of monsters and gather our first item. Bob was very proud of his gauntlet and army of aquatic monsters attempting to swarm us. Sadly for him, any amount of creatures with less than 100 HP would be defeated instantly by our ogre berserker, so long as they at any point were within 60 feet of one another. Bob attempted to overwhelm us with yet more monsters, failing to grab the subtleties of Supreme Cleave, which basically makes you Darius from League of Legends. The challenges came and went. We sort of assumed that this impossible adventure would have puzzles, dungeons, lore, and traps. Nah, it was just a large amount of monsters that we had to travel to. After vanquishing enough hordes, we'd obtain a MacGuffin and bring it back to Bob, who would send us on another long trek to get yet another orb. This went on for hours. This was meant to be a several weekend endeavor, but we were cruising through his minions faster than he could have anticipated. Bob, the greatest wizard in the world, asked us to get a 3rd orb. We asked for a teleport. Bob said no, and we asked why. Bob said it was part of our challenge as the chosen heroes. We asked why he didn't just go and grab it himself. Bob said he wouldn't do it because he was so powerful that intervening in this cross-country journey of cleave and crit would break the balance of the universe. We asked Bob for a teleport again, or we wouldn't do it. Bob said no. Bob decided to reveal his power and mind control our party into doing his quest. This worked, except for 2 clerics who simply dismissed his ability party-wide. We asked for a teleport. Bob said we would be retrieving the orbs, or else. A quick glance across the table revealed our collective choice. People were very, very tired of this adventure, and of Bob's failure to deliver the greatest adventure any player had ever seen. Many of them were themselves DMs who had hosted Bob and felt like it was kind of a dick move to announce that he was gonna show them what it's like to play with a real DM. The verdict was passed. We had chosen or else. We were gonna fuck up Bob. Bob won initiative, for he had the vampiric discipline of celerity. We rolled with it, and so did our eyes. Learning from his previous mistake, Bob attempted to mind control and disable our party clerics so they wouldn't dispel his spells. This failed. He cast many spells to damage us. Clerics and Bard patched through the volley of arcane bullshit. Then came Virgil's turn. Virgil has a lot of grapple. Bob does not. Bob is now grappled. On his turn, Bob invents new abilities allowing him to evade the grapple and free himself from the hamster's bite. With several actions due to his celerity and other vampiric powers, as well as the ability to cast any spell, Bob the Wizard is still bound by the rules of the universe, as well as the M-Bob's knowledge of the rules of the universe. The phrase, "you need a concentration check while grappled," or "you can't do that while grappled," become a finely owned weapon in our group's hands. Slowly, but very surely, Bob the Wizard's HP goes down, round after round. Bob's greatest challenge turns out to be his undoing, for in his own words, we should be prepared for the ultimate challenge that cannot be beaten. Defeated, he describes his character falling to our party and attempted to turn this into somehow a victory for himself. Bob: as you finally vanquish the wizard, you can see the orbs begin to turn dark. You have made a terrible mistake. By refusing the mighty wizard Bob's quest, you have doomed the world, and soon the orbs will be used for evil. You will all be killed by your decision. Virgil: I chew up the wizard's corpse and eat it. And that was today's story. I hope you enjoyed your stay, and that I will see you again soon, for there are always more stories to be shared.